Meteorologist Mark coming to you here, and much like Charlotte FC's month of May, it won't stop raining. Could Charlotte put a stop to the rain on the field this week, or is their season all but washed out? Find out this and more on Charlotte for the week. What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome back to your favorite time of the week, our favorite time of the week, because, well, get to watch a little bit more Charlotte for the week with me and my colleague here, Gabby. Jumping right in, a lot to cover this week. So we had two more games. This is now, 3 straight weeks where we had 2 games within a week. These 2 were league games, though. No U.S. Open matches. Obviously got eliminated from that last week. So these were all games that count toward the league itself. So, yeah, jump right into it. So 2 recaps to give you. Yay, 2 bonus recaps right here, right off the rip, right? So Saturday night, Charlotte played Columbus. We had already done the preview for that one. Charlotte got the victory. So Charlotte 3, Columbus 2 was the final there. Unfortunately, they did not back that up with the victory on Wednesday. They lost that one to Red Bull New York by a score of 4 for Red Bull, 2 for your boys in black and blue. Just to kind of jump in on the recaps for both. So obviously Saturday night was fantastic, great time. We got a win after losing 5 in a row. So it was very nice to get off the schneid, so to speak, and get that victory. Gabby and I were very close on our predictions, by the way. Amy was 3-0 for hers, but we were both, we predicted 2-1. As it turned out, it was 3-2 for Charlotte. We both predicted BL to score, which he did. I think I predicted Abada, which he didn't score. I think you predicted Bronico, neither did he, so we were off on the other goal scores. No big deal. Hey, 3-2 Charlotte. It was 3 points for the crown. That's all that really matters. In that game, what really stuck out was the offense. In my opinion, this was the best, or at least the most consistent the offense has played all year. We have games like San Jose where we did score 4 goals. But in this game, we created 6 big chances, which is the most we've registered in a game so far this season. Just very, very fluid on the offensive side. This was far and away Zaha's best match that he's played for Charlotte. Didn't score a goal, but was still his best match. That's how much he affected the game with his passing, his vision, his just ability to get around players one-on-one. He was so good. He did have 2 assists in the game. This was also Patrick Ajiman's best game of the season. More on him later. Big accomplishment that he got within the game. So I'll kind of touch on that later, but he did get 2 goals within the game as well. Just a great performance by the guys offensively. I stress offensively because, once again, just as May has gone for us, we gave up 2 more kind of cheap goals. Gave up a goal early against the run of play. Again, Charlotte had been dominating the play, and then kind of it was a pretty well-worked goal, to be fair, but still let in a goal early, let in 2 more goals, 2 goals total rather. So 2 goals against Columbus. We're able to overcome that for the victory 3-2. And again, jumping over then, we played another match on Wednesday night on the road in New York against Red Bull New York. Yet another rainy match, just as it's rained all week, as we talked about in Charlotte. Apparently, when we play on the road, it's going to rain on the road as well. I think it's every match we played so far this season has been a rainy one. If this was a microcosm of May, right? Charlotte looked very good on offense. They won the expected goals, at least for the run of play. So they were creating more opportunities. They looked very good offensively. Zaha, again, looked really good in this game. This was definitely the best, kind of back-to-back performance that Zaha's put in on the season with what he was doing. However, again, 4 goals against. Count them: 1, 2, 3, 4 goals against. You're just not going to win when that happens. We continue to switch off when it comes to defense. We score a goal and then give up a goal immediately 2 minutes later. That just seemed to happen all month. And so, yeah, I don't really have too much, to add to that. It's another really good performance from the offensive side, but a really uncharacteristic, performance on the defensive side, and that's what's cost us the game. Gabby, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, of course, I definitely do. To start out, Charlotte's performance on Saturday offensively, I was just overall really impressed. It's funny kind of like thinking back on it when we started the season. We were so big into the, our guys play so strong defensively.
Yeah.
And we can always count on Kalina and that back row to always really outperform the rest of the team. But now I think we're in a place where we were focusing so much on, improving our offensive side of things that we are losing sight of our pillars of Charlotte FC being, those really key defensive plays.
100%.
And again, I say plays because I'm not bashing the players at all. I think they're all incredibly talented, and on the back end for sure. I think we're just losing sight of what Charlotte FC was built upon. So it's interesting to see it now, but it's also really cool to see the offense be as strong as they are. I really am in love with kind of how Zaha and Vargas and Pepiel are really starting to learn their styles of play. They're reading the field so much better, the three of them together.
Yeah.
And I really like those three, and how they're controlling their movement when going down the field to press. So again, very impressed. And you know me, I'm a Zaha hater, right?
Have been.
But he's really been such a key player in these last two games. Obviously, he's not scoring, but I don't think that's what makes great players. It's how, you interact on the field with all of the players and everyone around you, and then how you can make those key moments.
And make your teammates better the way that he has.
Exactly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Right? Yeah, and his attitude has looked so much better, right? Early in the season, we see him using a lot of his effort and energy to talk to the refs and talk to the players on the bench, right, that are kind of jawing back at him. And he's just got to expect that as the player with his stature, right? They're going to try to get in his head because they know that to a certain amount they can, but he hasn't been affected by that in the last couple of games. If anything, he's just used that as motivation. Again, he went the whole 90 minutes both games. And we were down obviously that entire game against the Red Bull, but he continued to fight. He didn't pout and moan. He would just continue to play really hard and create chances. Every good thing that happened with Charlotte offensively was coming through him, or maybe BL as well, kind of both of them being the catalyst. We know BL can do it. We finally get to see it on the Zaha side as well. And you mentioned another name that I didn't say in the recap that I'm glad you mentioned with Kerwin Vargas, right? Like he has come in as a starter all of a sudden, right? So he's basically supplanted Liel Abada at the moment. Abada's coming in as a super sub, which I don't hate that neither. His kind of speed and we know he can score goals. He can bring that on late against the tired defense. That's good. And what we know about Vargas is maybe he doesn't have the touch or the overall skill that Abada does possess. But his overall game, his defensive work rate, just his work rate in general, he's always going to work hard. He's always going to make the right play. He's not going to put you in a place that hurts you as a team typically, right? And so I think that is the main thing that he does bring to the team. And so I think he has brought a lot coming into the starting lineup above Abada. You hate to have your $8.5 million player on the bench, but again, when you can bring him in and be dynamic late, and you have a player like Vargas that's going to work early, I don't think that's a bad thing. And yeah, to your point, I think he's looked really good in there, and the offense really has looked good over the last handful of games, even though it hasn't resulted in victories. It's because of the other side of the ball, like you mentioned, why we haven't been winning. The defense giving up 2, 3, 4 goals. I mean, it's Swiss Army? No, that's not it. Swiss cheese is what I was looking for there. Is what our defense has been looking like so far. And so, but yeah, I think we have a lot of promise, certainly, to go by on the offensive side moving into the latter part of the season. Anything else to add to that?
I mean, to go back to Vargas, and maybe I'm jumping ahead with these hot takes, but I think I have a hot take of Vargas really giving these key starting players like Abada a run for their money for the remainder of the season, simply because, like you said, Vargas tries so hard, and I think that's what I love about his style of play and just him as a person. He's so young and he's youthful, of course, but he really is out there, and it just feels like he's trying to prove himself week after week. Whereas sometimes the Zahas and the Pepiels, they get so caught up with, let's just make sure that, we're doing enough to get by. Whereas, in every play we see that when Vargas is a key mover of the play. He really is trying so hard, and I can't help but admire that about him. So my hot take is that I think for the remainder of the season, he's really going to give these guys a run for their money. Not in a bad way, but I think it's going to really challenge them because, you know, the Abadas, the Zahas, they are so much older, and they do have a lot of experience under their belt. And so someone like Vargas coming in, I think, is also just going to enhance the overall team because, you know, they're like, hey,
brings competition in for these players.
Exactly, and I think it's a healthy thing too.
I agree. Westwood talked about that in the post game, actually.
Yeah.
Same with Tiger Smalls.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Gabby. I mean, right on the money, right? I think. Also, Vargas gives us a little bit more versatility because he can play a little bit better on the defensive side than Abada can. But beyond even him, like Tiger Smalls, who came into the game against the Red Bulls and made an instant impact, right? Some of these younger guys could be coming in and challenging for spots, especially if we keep losing. I mean, you might as well see what they can bring to the table. And I think Vargas is a great example of a player that, yeah, when he comes in, you know exactly what you're going to get. It's consistency every single time. Is it great? No. But is it bad? Absolutely not. It's quality, and it's something that you can depend on for every single game, which is something you need in the squad, to be honest. So I think that's very good and really good kind of assessment there. You gave your hot take, so I'll go ahead and jump in with mine then. If you hadn't maybe gathered it already, audience, from kind of the recaps here, Charlotte's given up a hell of a lot of goals. Okay, so just I went ahead and did the stats for you, so you don't have to go do the research or anything. Hey, your boy did it. I'll go ahead and give them to you now. So check out the month of May for Charlotte if you want to. Just, you know, maybe viewer discretion advised warning needs to be on for this. Charlotte has given up 22 goals in the month of May.
Damn!
22. Now, we did play 9 games, so that's as many as we're ever going to play in a month's time. So a little bit, you know, understand that. But 22 goals in the month of May. To kind of put that in perspective, for the months of February, March, and April, we gave up a grand total of 8 goals. So, you know, 3 times less over 3 months. Granted, February is only 1 game, so really 2 months, but still, 8 goals compared to 22. I went back and looked at last year. How many goals did we give up all of last year when we were number 1 in the East? Well, it was 37. So we gave up 37 goals in an entire season last year. We just gave up 22 in 1 month. If that's not the issue, I don't know what is, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we can talk about X's and O's and strategy and, you know, this and that. It's scoring goals or giving up goals what ultimately matters at the end of the day. And when you give up that many goals, you're just not going to win consistently, right? So my hot take, presented by our guy, Sir Minty here, is if Charlotte can give up less than 1.5 goals per game for the remainder of the season. So starting today is May 29th, 2025. We'll go ahead and write it down and have receipts for it, right? May 29th, 2025. If Charlotte gives up less than 1.5 goals per game for the rest of the season, they will finish in the top 4 of the Eastern Conference this season. That is my hot take. I think that's what happens, and it needs to be the mindset that Charlotte gets back to. You said the pillars, and I think that's exactly right. The people like Kalina, the people like Andrew Privet, the people like Adilson Malanda that we have counted on for so much in the past, maybe they've been off a step here or there. Obviously, Reem also has, you know, every time he's been on the field recently, has been a bit of an adventure, right? These are players that we count on to be great, and they just simply haven't been. So if we can get back to that mentality of, hey, you're not scoring on us, I think the offense will take care of itself. Again, we've seen it, you know, really mold over the last couple of weeks and really start to, you know, turn it on. I think that continues as long as we can fix that foundation. You don't have a good house without a foundation. Our foundation has to be that defense. That's what I think moving forward. All right, and then just kind of jumping over to the Charlotte News Week, if you will, Charlotte FC for the week, Charlotte News. Kind of another congratulations, second time I've made this congratulations of the season. So both Patrick Ajiman and Tim Ream were called up to the U.S. men's national team for international duty for the month of June. They'll be playing some of the tune-up games to the Gold Cup for the U.S. team, so congrats to them. Also, Liel Abado was called up to the Israeli national team, so he'll have some games over in Israel as well for their national team. So congrats to all 3 players. Again, second time all 3 of those have been named to their national teams. Always a good accomplishment, always a great accomplishment, so fantastic. And then also, good news for the team. So this is going to pertain just to the Saturday game. So at the end of the Saturday game, they of course announced the team of the week, they being the MLS. Both Zaha and Pep Biel were named to the team of the week, the MLS team of the week. First time, I think, for Zaha, maybe second, I can't remember. Third or fourth or fifth for Biel. He's pretty much on it every week, it seems like. So those 2 made the team of the week. And then an even maybe bigger accomplishment, our guy, who you're going to call Big Patrick Agyemang, was the MLS player of the week. So congratulations to him. I do believe this is the first time Charlotte has ever had a player of the week. Maybe Biel won it one of those weeks back, and I just didn't realize that could be a case. If it is, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time Charlotte has ever had an MLS player of the week. So congratulations to Patrick Agyemang for being that player. And then also, just kind of a side note, Souleymane Doumbia is back. So he did get into the game, very end of the game against the Red Bulls on Wednesday night. He played probably 10 or 15 minutes in that game. But yeah, just good to see him back in the lineup. We lost a lot of injuries in May. Obviously the big one is Nathan Byrne, who we really want to get back as soon as possible. But also very good to see Doumbia back. I really think him on that left and our new guy, I can now pronounce his name, is Shaquille Marshall-Ruddy. I really like them on either side being dynamic. So good to see Doumbia back in the lineup. Okay, and then jumping into the Around the League, going to do it a little bit different for you guys this week just because there were the 2 games. But Alan, there's been 2 games every week, week this week. Well, yeah, I know that, but all the other games were U.S. Open games in the midweek. This was an actual week where we had 2 league games. So wanted to go ahead and report on both, but I don't think you guys just want to sit here and watch me give you all the scores. So Gabby, I'm just going to have you put up all of the scores. The first ones you see are going to be from week 15. They should stay there for 10, 15 seconds or so, and then it'll switch over to week 16 so you can see all of them. What I will go ahead and do for you, though, is highlight all of the, we'll call them the winners and the losers of the week. So the winners are going to be all the teams that went 2-0. Only 3 of them. So out of all 30, however many teams in the MLS, only 3 went 2-0 over these 2 games. And those teams are, well, unfortunately, got to start and shout out our team to the south, our rival Atlanta United. They had 2 big victories, both at home, worth noting, but both very good opponents that they were playing as well. So they beat Cincinnati 4-2 on Saturday, followed that up with a 3-2 victory against Orlando on Wednesday. So 7 goals over 2 games. Obviously, they got something figured out there, or at least had a really good run. Kind of hate to see it, but hey, it is what it is. Hey, got to announce it. So 2-0 for Atlanta over those 2 games. Seattle also went 2-0 over that stretch. A pair of nice, tidy 1-0 victories, so a couple of clean sheets. Those are the victories Charlotte needs. I'm jealous of them. Those are the ones that we need, are those clean sheet victories. But 2 1-0 victories for Seattle kept them 2-0 over the week. And of course, Red Bull New York, who we played and lost to, right? We lost on Wednesday. Thought it was kind of interesting. They announced it during the game when we were watching it. First time in 33 weeks, or 33 games rather, that Red Bull New York has won back-to-back games, which kind of shocking. I mean, they're not a bad team at all. They always a perennial, playoff team. So kind of crazy that they hadn't won 2 in a row in that long, but hey, it is what it is. They won 2 in a week. So congrats to Red Bull New York, even though it wasn't the expense of Charlotte for one of those. So yeah, we've been keeping up with the Galaxy all week, and I think I had mentioned one of my hot takes, which I guess got proven correct, is that the Galaxy did not win a game through June, unfortunately. So June is going to come before they play another game, and they did not win. They went 0-2 over the 2 stretches. I believe you did watch one of those games, so maybe you have a little bit of insight there. But then the other team that went 0-2 in that stretch, the team Charlotte plays this week, so you'll get to learn a little bit more about them later in the show, Toronto FC. So Toronto FC and Galaxy, both 0-2. And again, I did mention the 3 2-0 teams. So anything else to add on that, Gabby?
Yeah, so I watched the Galaxy game, ironically, against
a little in-depth research.
Yeah, I mean, it was just on the TV. But I watched some of it, and I really was not like I was a little surprised. I didn't think the Galaxy played that bad. They haven't won a game this season, right? But I don't think that they're like this big, terrible team that I think the standings make it look like. I think they had a lot of really great.
But they hadn't won all year, so
yeah.
But I do go to you. You were pleasantly surprised with how good they played, given their record.
They were not great. I don't even know if I would say they were like good, but mediocre, yes. And the thing is they really did have a lot of really good opportunities that they could have capitalized on. I think defensively, San Jose just hadn't beat. But I didn't think it was as bad as it could have been, right? So I was a little surprised.
Maybe that win's on the horizon. Maybe June looks good for them to get a victory, huh? You never know.
I'd love to see
it. It is crazy. Like I said, they shouldn't be that bad. They won the league literally last year. I know I've said that probably 15 times on the show. So they clearly have talented players. Their best player is out and has been all year and will continue to be, in Ricky Puig. But it's so hard to believe that one player can do that much of a difference. So crazy to see, but hey, it is what it is. They are still 0-4, and we are going into the month of June. So brutal season for the Galaxy. And kind of just leading that right into the standings, we'll go ahead and look at the very bottom of the West standings here, and you see the Galaxy down there at the bottom in dead last place. You like that? That kind of rolled off the tongue, huh? Yeah, so dead last is the Galaxy. But then let's go back to the top. Obviously, Vancouver continues to soar. They're 5 points clear at the top. They won one game and drew one over the 2 weeks. So continue to play really well. 4 points leaves them 5 points clear at the top. And then, kind of like we reported last week, the group 2 through 9, which are kind of your playoff teams right there, they're very jumbled together, stacked in the West. Only separated by 7 points total. So, really anybody's game, somebody gets hot in the West, they can easily jump up and be in the, have a home game, for the playoffs. So, really good jumble, for the West there. Moving over to the East, obviously you see us right down there in 9th. I did notate it as fake 9th. So if you just kind of look at the two teams below us, they have less points than us, which ultimately is all that matters and what counts for the standings, but they have 2 games less played. But I say I'm talking New England and I'm talking Chicago right below us. We call that games in hand in soccer. And so I guess it's feasible to assume that they will get at least 2 points out of 4 matches. Not guaranteed, of course. They have to go out there and get the results. But if things kind of hold to form, they could easily jump us by just playing the same amount of games as us. So that's why I call it kind of a fake 9th place. Atlanta, on the heels of their 2 victories, are really, objects are closer than they appear in our rearview mirror right now for Charlotte. They're right behind us, sitting there in 12th place. And again, the only 2 teams in between us and Atlanta right now are the 2 teams that have 2 games less played. So they're really right behind us there. And of course, we talked about Columbus. They kind of had a tough week losing to us and then drawing the other, only 1 point. That kind of cleared some space at the top for Philly, who we now see is in the pole position, if you will, 33 points for them, first place. So congrats to Philly for the time being. And we are basically at the halfway point. So they're, kind of your halfway leaders at this point. So congrats there. Anything jump out to you?
Obviously I don't love to see us in 9th place. I don't think anyone does. But this much being said, I think that obviously I'm okay with it because we haven't been playing like we should have. And when I say okay with it, I understand why we're there. But looking at who's leading the Eastern Conference, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Nashville, Columbus, these are all such powerful teams as a whole. It's not just they have, one player here and they just ride that person's back. No, really and truly, and this is not to pat their backs, but I can't help but, say that they're all so talented. All of their players are really and truly, and they
very consistent.
They have to put up such their opponents have to put up such a fight just to even come close. So it's kind of cool to see.
They almost win the game before they start it with the mentality they have going against some of the other teams.
And it's
I agree.
It's not just and I don't mean to hate on Charlotte, but I think that we go through these ruts where we are really bad for a few weeks and then we're gonna get really good and then we go really bad again, and it's just back and forth. But with those 4 leaders, I feel like they're just very consistent, and I think that they really do kind of lean into what it is that their foundation is and their focus is as a team, and I think it just helps them overall. But again, I always love to see them on the field. They're all super talented, but it also gives us a little bit of, kick in the ass, we need to get to that consistent level. So
100%. Teams with, I think you're dead on, and I mean that goes maybe back because again, really up through May, we had that kind of same established identity that was consistent, and teams feared us because they know they couldn't score against us, or at least it was going to be darn challenging to score against us. And now teams come in like, oh, who's scoring this game, right? I want in the lineup because I'm going to go score a goal against Charlotte. And that seems to be the difference between the two right now.
So, we just
100%. That's a very good point. And yeah, I mean, like I said, those top 4 have been consistent. Not really only this year, but year over year, game over game, month over month. Those are the teams that seem to be toward the top all the time. So congrats to those teams. But hey, Charlotte is coming for you. As long as we give up 1.5 goals per game less, right? That's when we come for you. So yeah. With that being said, we'll kind of just jump on into the match week. Hey. Everything that kind of started this, your favorite part of the week is the match week preview. So it should be a great week, right? That's going to be my prediction, at least to start. So we've got Toronto on the road, of course. We don't have a home game at all in the month of June, but the calendar will turn to June when we play this game. It's in Toronto. It's a must win. It is a must win for Charlotte. And not just a must win. Actually, I'll even take that back. I wouldn't say must win. Obviously, I think we will win and need to win, but it's a must show up game in terms of the defense. That is going to be what I'm watching for this game. Listen, I'll go ahead and go through some of the stuff with whatever they're called, Toronto, right? They're coming off back-to-back losses. They haven't scored more than 2 goals in a game all season, other than one. They had a 6-goal barrage against last place CF Montreal, so kind of a aberration there. But other than that, they haven't scored more than 2 goals in a game all season long. At home, they played 9 games at home. They have 1 win in 9 games at home. This is a team you've got to go in there and take it by the scruff of the neck. Be the better team. Do not allow a goal, right? They have one player on the team that you kind of have to focus in on, Federico Bernacheschi. Easy for me to say. But yeah, he's an Italian forward, left-footed. Most goals he's ever scored in the MLS is 8, so he's never even hit double digits. He's got 4 so far this season. So yes, he's a talented player. He comes from overseas, and certainly gives them quality. But that's the player you kind of circle and just, hey, don't let him beat you. And I think that's what will propel Charlotte forward in this particular game, right? That's got to be the mentality. The mentality has to be for all 90 minutes plus stoppage time, we are not giving up a goal. That to me is got to be it. That's got to be the mindset, not just for this game, but then they can carry that forward, because I do believe the offense will take care of itself. We've started to, again, establish that. We spent most of the first recap highlighting and praising all of our forwards and how they've kind of meshed together. I don't think that's going anywhere. I think that they have started to figure that out, and that's only going to continue to enhance itself. But we got to rebuild this foundation that Charlotte was built on, and that is that defensive principle and not giving up goals. So that is kind of my thing for the game. That is certainly my preview, is that this is a mindset game, and this is a game that Charlotte says, we are better than you. We're going to go show it. Not after we give up a goal and have to come back. No, we from minute 0 to minute 90 plus stoppage time, we're the better team. We're taking it to you. What do you think, Gabby?
I mean, I agree with you. I feel like this should be a piece of cake. Knock on wood, obviously. But again, Toronto's not the best. So I think I would go into it thinking that, we can really dominate this. It is on the road, so that scares me just a little bit. But,
sure.
Toronto not being a great team, them not scoring more than 2 goals a game, unless it was against Montreal. I mean, Montreal. So,
right.
But with that being said, it really scares me that they're not the best, and it's kind of a hot take, but Charlotte just doesn't play as well as they could, and as well as they have the ability to when it's against a team that they know is not the best or is mediocre or below mediocre, right? So that scares me because then they have the tendency to, get scored on. And like you said, cannot be a game where we, just allow someone to score on us. And then, even if we end up winning, cool. But I think we really need to get into a place where when we do have these little dogs in the fight, that we are just dominating constantly. Because at the end of the day, this isn't a high school game. It's not.
There's still professional football players out there.
Yes, and I think that Charlotte doesn't play to that professional level when it is a game that isn't seen, on their level. So I would say I'm just worried that they are going to not play as well as they could. But I would love to see them dominate the field, and I think that's what we've got to do going into this.
Exactly, and that was kind of my point, is not why I kind of was very demonstrative about dominance, take it by the scruff of the neck, because you're exactly right. They easily can fall into that trap of, this isn't a Columbus or Cincinnati that we're playing right now, right, or Miami for that matter, right? This is a team toward the bottom, and we can maybe fill them out, and no, don't fill it out. Go out there and dominate the game as you should. So I think that's exactly on the money. Do you have a prediction for the game? What are you thinking?
I mean, keeping in line with us not getting scored on, I'm going to say 3-0 Charlotte. I think with us playing a team like Toronto, it gives a lot of different players the ability to score. So I think I'm going to go with Zaha. I'm a Zaha hater, but I think with how he's recently played as really helping guide these, he's assisting multiple goals, right? I think he's becoming such a key player. He's not scoring goals, but again, that doesn't make amazing soccer players. It's, how they define those key moments within the game and how they just help the team overall get to where it needs to be. So I'm going to go Zaha on that.
Okay, love that.
I'm also going to go Vargas. I think
backflip.
Yes, backflip. I would love to see him score. He definitely has the ability to. So kind of looking forward to that. And then let's go Big Pat. I think he had a great game.
Get him on the phone.
On Saturday. He actually absolutely dominated on Saturday. He just played so well, and he played with such, I would say, of course, he was scoring, so
he was getting behind so well. Yeah, it was kind of a tale of two games for him, for sure. I mean, player of the week in the Saturday game, and then hardly even saw him in the Wednesday game. Matter of fact, his replacement, Tiger Smalls, that came in as a sub, outshined him tenfold when he came into the game. So hopefully he gets back to it. I think he will, right? I mean, this is a great game for him where he can kind of run in behind the defense and get a pass from a BL or a Zaha and get that goal you're talking about. So, hey, love that. 3-0 Charlotte. That's Gabby's prediction. I'm not too far off of that.
What do you got?
So I do think the most important thing for me in this game is that we get a clean sheet. Obviously, I want us to score some goals as well. If it finished 0-0, though, I would almost be like, hey, that's fine. We didn't give up a goal. So that I am just that we're focused on the defensive side of things this week. But the first thing is, Toronto 0. That's got to be their final score, in my opinion. Is Toronto 0 for them. I am going to say Charlotte does go ahead and continue the offensive prowess they've shown over the last couple of weeks and get a couple of goals. I'll say Charlotte 2. So Charlotte 2 and Toronto 0. Definitely agree with you on the Zaha take there and him getting a goal. Again, he hadn't scored in the last couple, but everything that has happened that is good for Charlotte, there we go, has come through Zaha, in my opinion, in the last couple of games. He's just been that fulcrum where, he's got the vision. If he got the pass, or if he doesn't have a pass, he's just going to dribble around you, right? He's just got it going right now and has really seemed to find his rhythm over the last couple. So go ahead and continue that, and hey, get yourself a goal this week. It's been a couple of weeks for you. And then my other goal scorer for this week, I'll go with the other playmaker, the maestro himself, the Spaniard, Pep Biel. He just gets too many opportunities, and he's too quality on the ball. His feet in there, he'll find the ball. He's going to tuck it away. He'll get the other goal. So there's your 2 goals. Hopefully they score boatloads. Hopefully they get 6, right? Like that they did against Montreal. But again, I am much less focused on the offense this week. We got to get back to that foundation and playing that defense. So please give me a clean sheet for the week. That would be the ultimate present, I think. So anything else to add before we close this thing up?
I mean, I hope they score 6. I'd love to see that. I'd love to shoot up in a ranking in the conference. Realistically, though, as long as we don't get scored on, I think I'll be very content with the outcome for sure.
Absolutely. We all want clean sheets. That's what we want. Kalina, get that clean sheet for us. That'd be important. So, hey, that's it. I appreciate all you guys watching. If you hadn't already, please go like and subscribe and continue to watch moving forward. As always, that's Charlotte for the week.